Welcome to the lecture on total quality management. Okay, and this is the module number two, the from total quality management. In this one, we are learning the strategic planning. That is the topic that we are learning. Okay, so if you see the thought of this, the person, quality planning consists of developing the products and process required to meet the customer's need. So when we talk about the strategic planning, there is always the center point is the customer. When we are to improvise the quality of our service and the product, then always our focus is towards the customer's need, what they need. Because initial, just like for example, I would like to give the one example related to the watch. Okay, the wristwatch. So initial day when we, if you see your parents watch, okay, it might be how the analog one. So there is a three pointers in the watch, and they have the sail, okay, and it is not that decorative, but it is okay. Somehow it is okay. Okay, so that is the part that is the manufacturing the watch in the era when it is a 1980, 1970, or up to the even 1990. After that, there is the change the design of the watch. Now the person who is born in this era after 2000, okay, now he don't want to use that analog watch. The need is changed. Actually, what is the purpose? The purpose of the watch is to know what is the time. Initially days when there is a the watch is manufactured, the customer's need is what? They should know what is the time, because that day there is no watch, or we can't say if you go outside what is the time. It is not possible to know because we don't have the mobiles and all. So we have the only the one instrument that with us, it is a watch. So what we do, we just wear that watch on the wrist. Okay, but that time there is no fashion of just doing the designing and all other part. Okay, even the previous day when before the 1970, if you say, then they have a key. So they have the key, just give the key, and then the pointers just run around and around, just because they don't have the sail that time. Okay, now they change from the key to the sail, from the sail. Now if you see nowadays, you may not be use the analog watch, you are using the digital watch. You're using the digital watch. Why you are the digital? Again, it is a smart watch, just like a smartphone. Now you are using the smart watch, and it is just like the touch screen is there, and you can see everything, not only the time, but you can see your heartbeat, you can see your the what is the blood pressure, you can see the temperature, everything, whatever the things is there. Even you can connect the smartwatch with the mobiles, and you can even attend the call, or you can call it. So what is that? That is the revolution of it. And what nowadays, what is the customer's needs? Are they interested or analog clock? Then definitely not. They are not interested. Now the person who is manufacturing the clock, sorry, the watch, okay, and that watch, if it is not a smart watch, then nobody is ready to buy. Just like you are born after the 2000, and you are not ready to buy that clock, buy that watch, just because your needs is different. The need of the person who is born in 1970, 1980, his need is different, and the person who is born after 2000, his need is different. Okay, so that's why what we need to improvise the things, and always we need to know what is the need of a customer. So this is very, very important for the quality. That's why you might be heard that HMT watch, that is the one of the favorite watch in 1970. But just because they are unable to change themselves from the analog to the digital, and they now the factory get closed. The reason behind, they are not change their product as per the need of the customers. So here, while making the quality, you need to think about the customer's need. Okay, now we will see the strategic planning of it. I mean, so how to improvise the quality, and for that one, the planning is important. Okay, so let's see what are the plannings of it. So if you see here, there are the 7 steps to strategic planning. We have to follow the 7 steps for a strategic planning. Strategies, just like already I gave the example of what is your strategy when you want to score a mark. What is your strategy? Your strategy might be different. depend on what is your desire to score, and where is the what is the weak point, what is the strong point, and accordingly you make a strategy. Just like for example, if in a semester 5 you have the six subjects, out of that 6, 2 might be very difficult for you, and the 4 is very easy, and out of that 4, the 2 is your strong point. So what you focus, your strategy is very clear, that you are that much maximum time you try to give the subject which is very hard, or you might be have the strategy that at least the scoring, not the scoring, but at least the passing marks I can achieve in that particular subject, and the remaining subject I can cope up the marks which I lose in the which is the hard subject for me. So what, that is my strategy. Or somehow some people may have the different strategy, but here the strategy is very important for doing to desire or for getting the things. So here there are 7 steps for strategic planning. When we are planning that one, the first is the customer's needs. So first step is the customer's need. Properly you should know what is the demand by the customer. As I gave the example of the watch. So nowadays, if you are making or you are manufacturing the analog clock watch, then nobody is ready to buy your watch, because the customers are changed. You see that there are the young persons, all the youngsters are they are wearing a watch, a digital watch, a smart watch. So and maximum share is by that these people. Okay, that's why it is very, very important. See what is the need. Okay. Second thing is the customer's position. Now, whether you want to continue to give the service to the customers or not. Okay, and this is very important. So next, to planners determine whether organization want to be continue with these customers, or they want to expand, or they want to retain this one, or they want to reduce the customers. Now see the positioning of it. Accordingly you are doing planning, and all the industries always they want to grow. Nobody want to stagnate, one thing, and nobody want to lose. All the time they want to grow. Okay, just like in our life we always want to grow. Always we are going in a positive direction, not in a negative direction. Okay, so that is the symbol of growing the things. Okay, so here the customer's position is very important while doing the strategic planning. In that one, there are some questions that you would like to ask, and on that basis you have to work it. Then the predict the features. When you are doing a planning, you need to know what is the future, what is the demand of the customers after say 10 years, after 20 years. So this is very, very important, because many times where the industries get collapsed because they are unable to predict the future. What is the demand of the people? What is the demand? Just like even you might be, there are the number of examples from the electronics devices and instrument that we use. It might be the laptop, it might be the mobile phones, or especially we talk about mobile phones, the automobiles, in that one, the bikes and all. You see how the changes are done. Okay, the future is different one, where if you are making a same product for the next generation, then they will not accept it. So that's why you see initially the phones are just for the calling purpose and for text the message, SMS. Now you see how many apps are there, how many social medias are there on the smartphone. Now you want more and more applications in that smartphone. So here you should know what is the future, what is the next thing. Is it the phone is only used for the talking or the speaking with each other, communication media? No. Nowadays only the 1 to 10% are the use of the mobile for the communication, and others it is for the entertainment. So here again you can see what is the future of the next generation, what they need. After that, when doing a planning, a gap analysis. Now where is the gap? Is there any gap between the product which is present and something that the customers need but unable to give by the industries? So see the gap, and accordingly you have to plan it. This is very, very important, because now if you see what is the gap analysis, when you want to talk about the gap analysis, then you see there is a number of industries in India who is just importing their raw materials, importing the goods from the China. You see that many industries, they are manufacture their product in China and then they are importing it. Now this is the gap. What is the gap? The one of the biggest gap you might be see that about electronic devices. Whenever you go into the market and you want to purchase electronics, any electronic device or any metal type devices, the goods, then you always see it is made in China. You see that they manufactured by a Republic of China. Why? Because they are manufacturing, we are importing, and we are just marketing here the product. Now this is the gap. If you the one of the industry who is working in as a steel industry, or the some industries who is working in the electronic devices like a mobile, so this is the gap. Gap is what we are importing. It means ultimately we are giving the extra costing. Is it possible for me to do the manufacturing here itself in India? Because the market is huge. You see there is a huge market of a mobile in India. So what you see, this is the gap. Can we cope up this gap? Or when we talk about the chemical industries, okay, you are chemical engineers. So where is the gap? The gap is that we all now also we are depend for the raw material, either for the pharmaceutical industries or it might be the fertilizer industry. We are importing the raw material from the China. Now, what is that? This is the gap. Is it possible for us to make a raw material here itself in India? Then the answer is yes, it is possible. Do we have that the technology with us? Definitely we have. We need to develop. If it is not available, then we need to develop it so that we are fulfill our needs itself in our country, itself in our region. You might be see there are the lots of problem when there is a manufacturing the vaccine. The US are banning to provide or ban or not provide the raw material, the base raw material for manufacturing the vaccine. That's why there is the Covaxin and Covishield. They have the limited numbers of the manufacturing the vaccines, because the base which is on the raw material is required for making the vaccine. That base is not provided by US, and the US is only the country who is manufacturing that one. And as we don't have the plant in our country to manufacture the raw material, now what this is the gap. The demand is huge, but there is a gap. Okay, now can we fulfill this gap? Even in a service, even in a service sectors, you might be manufacture sector, everywhere, wherever you are doing a work. That time you need to think a gap, and then you have to closing the gap. The next point is what? Not only to search the gap, but also you want to see how to close that gap. Okay, and for that another strategic the step for making the planning, it is closing the gap. So find the gap, then closing the gap. After that one, the next step, the 6 steps we call it is alignment. Now everything we say that what is the need of the customers, we see what is the position of the customers, we predict the future, we find the gap, we try to closing the gap. Now you need to align the things, each and everything you need to align. Okay, how you align? Now this is alignment with the mission and vision of your industry. It is not say there is a gap of manufacturing some unuseful product, or which is a demanding one, but that is not good for the health of the people or to the environment. So we are not doing that. We are not enter into that sector. Okay. See here, alignment means whatever be the things that we have, we learn these 5 steps. Then we need to align this one with the mission and vision. Why there is a mission and vision? Vision and mission, all these things give you a direction. It will give the direction of what the quality and goods quality that you have to maintain. So you need to have align all this with the mission and the vision of your industry, and then you have to work on it. And this lastly is the implementation. So you need to take action. Once you find everything, then you need to take action on it, and because when you take action, then only there is an output, or we call it as a result. Otherwise, without implementation, it is not possible. Okay, so in details we will learn about these 7 steps to a strategic planning. the customer's needs. Then we have the implement. Okay, I just repeat this part. The customer's needs, customer's position, predict the future, gap analysis of your product, closing the gap of your product, alignments, and lastly to implementation, that one what you plan.